This is how the government managed to manipulate the weather. For decades, rumors have circulated about a machine capable of controlling the weather. Whispers of secret government projects, hidden installations, and covert experiments have fueled speculation. While many dismiss these tales as conspiracy theories, evidence has emerged suggesting that weather manipulation is not only possible but has been happening for years. The origins of weather control technology can be traced back to the early 20th century. As the world grappled with the devastation of World War II, scientists and military strategists began exploring ways to harness the power of nature as a weapon. Project Storm Fury, initiated in the 1960s by the United States, aimed to weaken hurricanes through cloud seeding. Although officially abandoned, it laid the groundwork for more advanced and clandestine endeavors. In the decades that followed, advancements in meteorology, atmospheric science, and technology converged to create a machine capable of altering weather patterns. Known internally as Project Helios, this initiative brought together top scientists, military experts, and engineers in a secret facility hidden deep within the Rocky Mountains. Funded by black budgets and shielded from public scrutiny, the project aimed to achieve complete mastery over the weather. The weather control machine, codenamed Zephyr, is an awe-inspiring feat of engineering. At its core lies a complex network of antennas, satellites, and ground-based stations, all working in unison to manipulate atmospheric conditions. Using advanced algorithms and real-time data, Zephyr can generate and direct electromagnetic waves to influence weather patterns on a global scale. The machine operates by targeting specific areas of the atmosphere with high-frequency radio waves. These waves can heat or cool air masses, alter pressure systems, and even induce precipitation. By precisely controlling these variables, Zephyr can create rainstorms, dissipate clouds, or even steer hurricanes. The technology behind Zephyr is rooted in principles discovered during early research on ionospheric heating, but its capabilities far surpass those initial experiments. To ensure the secrecy of Project Helios, the facility housing Zephyr was constructed with extreme security measures. Buried deep underground and surrounded by a no-fly zone, the installation is inaccessible to all but the highest-level personnel. The scientists and engineers working on the project are subject to strict confidentiality agreements, and their identities are shrouded in mystery. The implications of weather control technology are staggering. Throughout the late 20th and early 21st centuries, Zephyr has been used to influence various global events, often without the public's knowledge. From droughts and floods to severe storms and unseasonal weather, the machine's fingerprints can be found in numerous natural disasters and climatic anomalies. One notable example is the European heatwave of 2003, which resulted in thousands of deaths and widespread devastation. Behind the scenes, Project Helios had directed a prolonged high-pressure system over the continent, exacerbating the heatwave's effects. Officially, it was attributed to natural climatic variations, but insiders knew the truth. Zephyr had been tested on an unprecedented scale. Similarly, the catastrophic Hurricane Katrina in 2005 raised suspicions among conspiracy theorists. While the official narrative blamed natural causes, whispers within the intelligence community suggested that Zephyr had played a role in intensifying the storm and directing it towards New Orleans. The resulting chaos provided a convenient cover for further experimentation and data collection. Zephyr's influence extends beyond natural disasters. Weather control has been used as a tool of geopolitical strategy, subtly shaping the outcomes of conflicts and negotiations. Favorable weather conditions can enhance agricultural output, bolster economies, and sway public opinion. Conversely, targeted weather disruptions can cripple adversaries, destabilize regions, and exert pressure on foreign governments. The existence of a weather control machine raises profound ethical questions. The power to manipulate nature carries with it immense responsibility, and the potential for misuse is staggering. While Project Helios was ostensibly created to protect national interests and prevent natural disasters, its deployment has often served political and military agendas. One of the greatest concerns is the unintended consequences of weather manipulation. The atmosphere is a complex and interconnected system, and even small changes can have far-reaching effects. Zephyr's interventions have sometimes led to unexpected weather patterns, causing harm to ecosystems and human populations. The long-term impact of such disruptions remains unknown, as the project operates without public oversight or accountability. Moreover, the secrecy surrounding Project Helios has eroded trust in government institutions. The suppression of information and the dismissal of legitimate concerns, as conspiracy theories have fueled public skepticism and paranoia. As evidence of weather control technology continues to surface, the demand for transparency and accountability grows louder. In recent years, a group of whistleblowers from within Project Helios has come forward, risking their lives to expose the truth. They have released documents, recordings, and first-hand accounts, providing a glimpse into the shadowy world of weather control. These revelations have sparked a global movement demanding the declassification of all information related to Zephyr and the regulation of weather manipulation technologies. The story of Zephyr and Project Helios is a cautionary tale of the perils of unchecked power and secrecy. As we grapple with the ethical implications of weather control, it is imperative to ensure that such technology is used responsibly and transparently. The future of our planet depends on our ability to balance technological advancement with ethical stewardship, safeguarding both the natural world and the integrity of our institutions. The hidden history of weather control reminds us that the truth, no matter how deeply buried, will eventually come to light. As we uncover the secrets of the past, we must strive to build a future where transparency, accountability, and ethical responsibility guide our actions, ensuring that the power to control the weather is wielded for the benefit of all humanity. In the early 2000s, whispers of the government's weather manipulation experiments began to surface, thanks to the efforts of a lone whistleblower known only as Mr. X, a former scientist who had worked on Project Zephyr. Mr. X claimed to have first-hand knowledge of the machine's capabilities and its deployment in various covert operations. His revelations were both shocking and terrifying. Mr. X provided detailed descriptions of the technology, including blueprints, operational manuals, and classified documents that outlined the project's objectives. According to these documents, the primary goal of Project Zephyr was to test the machine's ability to create controlled weather events, such as localized storms, heat waves, and even hurricanes. These experiments were conducted in remote areas, far from prying eyes, and the data collected was used to refine the machine's capabilities. One of the most alarming aspects of Mr. X's testimony was his claim that the machine had already been used in several high-profile weather events. He pointed to unusual weather patterns and unprecedented natural disasters as evidence of the machine's influence. For instance, the devastating hurricanes that struck the Gulf Coast in the mid-2000s, which caused widespread destruction and loss of life, were allegedly manipulated to test the machine's power and precision. Despite the credibility of Mr. X's evidence, his claims were swiftly discredited by government officials and mainstream media. He was portrayed as a disgruntled employee seeking attention, and his documents were dismissed as forgeries. However, his revelations sparked a wave of interest and concern among independent researchers and conspiracy theorists, who began to investigate further. In the years following Mr. X's revelations, more evidence began to surface, suggesting that weather manipulation was not only possible but actively being pursued by multiple governments. Independent researchers uncovered patents for weather modification technologies filed by both private companies and government agencies. These patents detailed various methods for altering weather patterns, including cloud seeding, electromagnetic pulses, and chemical dispersal. Moreover, unexplained weather phenomena continued to occur with increasing frequency and intensity. Unprecedented droughts plagued agricultural regions, causing food shortages and economic instability. Record-breaking heat waves and cold snaps disrupted daily life and strained infrastructure. Massive storms and floods devastated communities, leading to significant loss of life and property. Each event was accompanied by reports of unusual atmospheric activity, such as strange cloud formations, sudden temperature shifts, and unexplained electromagnetic disturbances. A particularly compelling piece of evidence emerged in the form of satellite imagery. Independent analysts compared satellite photos from different time periods and identified anomalies that suggested deliberate weather manipulation. These anomalies included patterns consistent with cloud seeding, atmospheric ionization, and other weather modification techniques. The images were shared widely on social media and alternative news platforms, further fueling public suspicion and demand for transparency. As the evidence mounted, calls for an independent investigation into weather manipulation grew louder. Activists, scientists, and concerned citizens formed coalitions, demanding that governments come clean about their involvement in weather modification projects. Public protests and demonstrations were organized, drawing attention to the potential dangers and ethical implications of controlling the weather. The increasing scrutiny and public outcry forced several governments to address the issue of weather manipulation, albeit reluctantly. In a series of carefully crafted statements, Officials acknowledged the existence of weather modification research but downplayed its significance and denied any malicious intent. They framed their efforts as benign, focused on mitigating the impacts of climate change and improving agricultural productivity. However, leaked documents and insider testimonies painted a different picture. It became evident that weather manipulation was part of a broader global agenda, driven by geopolitical and economic interests. Controlling the weather provided governments with a powerful tool to influence global markets, disrupt enemy operations, and maintain strategic advantage. The ability to engineer natural disasters could be used as a form of covert warfare, destabilizing nations and forcing them into compliance. One of the most shocking revelations was the involvement of major corporations in weather manipulation projects. Companies with vested interests in agriculture, energy, and insurance sectors stood to gain immensely from the ability to control weather patterns. By influencing rainfall, temperature, and storm activity, they could manipulate crop yields, energy consumption, and insurance claims, reaping enormous profits while maintaining a facade of corporate responsibility. The global agenda extended beyond mere economic and geopolitical interests. Some theories suggested that weather manipulation was part of a broader plan to engineer societal changes. By creating artificial scarcity in crisis situations, governments could justify increased surveillance, control, and the erosion of civil liberties. The fear and uncertainty generated by unpredictable weather events provided a convenient pretext for the expansion of governmental power and the implementation of controversial policies. As the true scope of weather manipulation became apparent, the demand for accountability and transparency reached a fever pitch. Grassroots movements and independent media outlets played a crucial role in raising awareness and mobilizing public opinion. Whistleblowers and insiders continued to come forward, providing new information and corroborating existing evidence. International organizations and human rights groups began to investigate the ethical and legal implications of weather manipulation. They argued that controlling the weather without public knowledge or consent violated fundamental principles of human rights and environmental stewardship. The potential for abuse and unintended consequences was too great to ignore, and urgent action was needed to prevent further harm. Faced with mounting pressure, some governments initiated formal inquiries and commissioned independent studies to assess the impact of weather manipulation projects. These investigations uncovered a litany of ethical violations, environmental damage, and disregard for public welfare. The findings confirmed what many had long suspected, that the pursuit of weather control had been driven by power and profit, with little regard for the broader consequences. The revelations sparked a global debate about the future of weather manipulation technology. Some advocated for a complete ban on weather modification projects, arguing that the risks far outweighed any potential benefits. Others called for stringent regulations and oversight to ensure that any use of the technology was transparent, accountable, and in the public interest. Ultimately, the controversy surrounding weather manipulation highlighted the need for greater transparency and accountability in all areas of scientific and technological research. It served as a stark reminder of the potential dangers of unchecked power and the importance of informed, democratic decision-making. As the world grappled with the legacy of Project Zephyr and the broader implications of weather control, a new era of vigilance and responsibility began to take shape.